Okay, so we are live. Hello, everyone. So this is the beautiful class of Curae 2023-24, the PhMuseum's online masterclass on curatorial practice. And here with me, I have Erik Kessels, who had the honor to guide this group of people of young and photographers and curators over a period of 8 months, 7-8 months, to work towards the aim of curating the best possible exhibition with their own work or somebody else's work. And today we're going to see, each one of them is going to present to us the work they have been doing in this period of time. So I can leave the word to you, Erik, if you want to introduce.
You said it all already.
I said it.
So I can't do it better. I can't do it better than you did it. So I think we will get back to everyone after they did the presentation and ask maybe a question.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so we can have the first presentation by Lucas Momparler. If you are ready, Lucas.
Yes. I lost the here the top. Okay. Well, I wanted first to thank PhMuseum and Erik. I think I talk on behalf of my colleagues that it's been a great journey and very fulfilling. And I think we really learn a lot and enjoy it a lot. And yeah, today I'm going to share, well, I'm Lucas Momparler, an artist from Spain. I'm going to share with you this project is called Family Roots. For over 8 decades, my family has been living in the same place, which was once a dry orchard with carob trees. However, since something that I know is that some trees have stood here time before any of us. I wonder what this place is called my home and not theirs, when these trees and the roots, likely they have a deeper connection to the land and know more about my family than I do. The project intends to bring these entities to the spotlight. I want to acknowledge the significance of these trees that silently coexist with us. And I want to bring to the front row the narrative. I'm intrigued by nature's ability to quietly vanish and reappear, showing us the cycle of life and our insignificance. These trees are the custodians of our shared narrative. So as I say, my family has been living in the same place for the last 80 years. And the house has changed, the landscape has changed, the area has changed. And I've been trying to find which trees were here, which ones have died, how is everything developed over the years. I've been mapping all these entities, doing some categorization of the trees, maps, numbers. I gave them an ID and trying to see how this area has developed over the years. I also work with the family archive that helped me to identify all these trees and to find which ones have come until now. I also started mapping and doing 3D scans of the trees. With this, my intention was also to keep some of these ones that have died, these stamps, and trying to have like a memoir of them, like we do with our beloved ones, that we keep objects, we keep photos of them. So the idea is to keep something from them before they vanish and disappear. And somehow we could work with this like with virtual reality and have these trees in a room and kind of get around them and have them like it was like some kind of altar or something like that. So then they come and they will never forget. They will never be forgotten. Like now it happens sometimes with this kind of nature. These dots are important because these are images of the 3D software takes of the trees, and the dots are the thing that is going to connect everything together. I also wanted to give another kind of texture, thinking about home and thinking about my mother and my grandmother, how they sew, how they work with the fabric. So I printed some images on fabric, and here we see a map of the trees that are living in the house and how they connect to each other. And somehow they blur the lines between the limits that we have built and the humans that the borders, these definitions. They don't understand these kind of things because they share this space. Thinking about these limits, these connections, and also how they share the space. I was wondering also how would be that that space that they need, that limit, that border, but it's also kind of see-through because they share with each other, and it's not like the walls that we build. And I was also intrigued by the human relationship with them. These are fabrics dyed with natural pigments, like the bark of pine trees or coffee tea. And the print is one of the, well, some of these dead trees. And you can see the circles of life, but also the mark that the saw of that humans have used to cut them. So you can see like this both relationship there. Then I started playing with the archive images, with these dots, with these circles of life, and trying to identify which, well, showing which trees were here and which ones are not here anymore. You can see in red the ones that are alive, and in gold the ones that have disappeared. And it's something that is going through the whole project. I also wanted to give them another kind of format, thinking also about these portraits that we have sometimes, these images that we have from our family members, and so trying to frame them in this more quotidian or familiar way, and using materials that I found here and from the trees, like the carved leaves, the bark of some trees, the pine cones, and so. In a way, is giving or putting them in this kind of spotlight in the altar, and giving them the space in our memory that we don't put them or we don't give them. And that's it. I hope you like it, and thanks.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Lucas. Maybe, yeah, I'm really proud, I think, also on the progression you made, because, and also this work where you really made like these trees, almost treat them like your family members. And but I think in general, in your case, it was also, yeah, you always left a lot of space for experiment. But I just wanted to ask you maybe one question about, yeah, like yeah, what in your mind was the development you went through in this last month, and yeah, how did you kind of progress from that as a artist, but more the development that you went through?
I mean, it was when we started, it was very unclear what the project was going to be or the shape of it. I didn't know how to keep going, or I didn't give it the space to the project. So I think it was in the program was the space where I was able to experiment, as you say, and give me the freedom to do things that I've never been or I never done before. And I think this mentality that of thinking that you can experiment and not be in a box, and I don't know, like trying to express yourself in different ways, I think was what I learned, or like what I don't know, like my evolution has been about that, I guess.
Great,
Okay.
Lucas. Maybe another quick question from my side. I'm really impressed by the amount of work that you were able to produce and the different ways in which you declined this story. And I may be curious to see how you picture them together, imagining them in a space and so on. If you have thought of the project as a whole, what's your vision in that?
I think I try to use these dots and this kind of same style for the whole project so everything is linked together and has like more cohesive way or image as a whole. So yeah, I think it can work in an exhibition where you have the space for the artworks on the wall, the fabrics, and then in the middle, or you can scan this something, and then you can see these trees coming alive next to you in real size. And I think it works everything together since it has like the same cohesive work or way of being built, I guess.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for your presentation. We can move to the second presentation with Cole.
Okay. Let me get myself set up. All right. Everybody seeing my screen?
Yes, it's going perfect.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Cole Ndelu. Before I get into my presentation, I just want to say thank you to everybody who is here. Thank you to PhMuseum for the scholarship. It's an honor to have participated in this program. It's been a very beautiful experience for me, and I've learned a lot. And I'm just really thankful because curation, I have a degree in visual communication and I love exhibitions. So it's been very wonderful to like take myself further and imagine myself. So thank you for this opportunity. And also Sanbona, which is a greeting in isiZulu. And I choose to greet you all like that because Usanbona means it's like a greeting of saying, I see you, which links a lot to the project that I will be presenting. And Senkon, which in isiZulu means I have arrived. It's something I've just generally always wanted to say quite bigly in public, because this process and what I have been conceptualizing has been an exhibition of my own work or of like a very specific body of work that I've been developing over the past, like since 2020. And so as I get into the work, who I am and what I mean, just a bit of background on me. My name is Ndelu. I'm a lens-based practitioner, a contemporary artist and writer, just generally a multi-hyphenate. And my work explores themes related to self-care, justice, space, spirituality, and connection within the Black community, particularly the Black femme community. I am part of a generation that has been dubbed the Born Frees, which is someone who was born in 1994, which is the year of South Africa's first democratic election, and is living in a South Africa that has become increasingly unequal. For example, South Africa has one of the highest rates of gender-based violence in the world, but a conviction rate of 8%. And this is why I have decided to delve deeper into themes related to womanhood, femininity, safety, and sexual liberation. Within these frameworks, I question the idea of justice. What is justice for the Black community? What is owed to us, and what do you owe ourselves and one another? In my work, I'm interested in imagining aspirational states of being for women, imagining communal healing through sisterhood, imagining safety in a relationship setting, and making work that subverts the male gaze whilst asserting my feminine gaze upon feminine experiences. Currently, my projects increasingly move towards motion and sound, exploring the presentation of my works in a multimedia way to construct immersive spaces that facilitate well-being and vulnerability. And I articulate these imagined states by paying close attention to the natural outgrowth between material and ideas. And my goal is to develop a presentational framework that strengthens the voice of my work, making it more accessible and allowing me to grow as an artist. So to the concept, form, and the space that I have constructed during this process. And I have, the exhibition is titled No Perfect Cube. So I think a lot about design, and this idea was actually sparked by a conversation that I had with one of my favorite designers and architects, Jermaine Barnes. And at the time I was applying for a very ambitious grant, and he spoke to me about how he would have approached the project. And he had spoken about like working with cubes and how he would have done like his cube presentation. And since then, I've been studying mathematics and conceptualizing my ideas and thinking and building around like this idea of the cube and space and how it functions. So the exhibition is titled No Perfect Cube because there literally is no such thing as a perfect cube, and no cube can ever be the same. It's also about like the body is asymmetrical. So again, it's perfect, but it's not perfect. And as it relates to the art world, there are no perfect spaces for people like me. We must make them. We must force spaces to change and to be more accommodating. They must expand, they must flip, they must shift, because that is the nature of people, which is who my work deals with. So these are just some of my really bad drawings, but I believe that we should put our bad drawings out, because a lot of this work is working like from outer to inner. So I had to actually conceive of like the type of space that I would like to construct for this work to be in. And I literally started thinking around like designing like really bad cubes, and also using my names and my initials as actually a way of designing the space that this work will exist in. And everything that I'm producing, it kind of starts like in a very expansive way where you're looking at photography, pictures that I'm taking of people, and then you'll see how it gets more personal as I become the subject of the work. So these are not photographs, these are meditations. Inside of this work, you'll find stories, the stories of my family, my friends, who have been like very close to me in like these past couple of years. So I speak of like this work as Holy Communion, because the idea of community is like everybody's a part of a community. But communion is about like, again, deep seeing, deep reverence for one another, deep listening, and presence. And I really want us to go back to a place where we revere like the human experience a bit more. And so this is also not an exhibition, just an exhibition. It's Jubilee, which is taken from one of my favorite Toni Morrison quotes, where she just speaks about the life experience as like as something to celebrate, and to celebrate the everyday, which again for me speaks very much to this like to justice and what is owed to Black people. My work is segmented into like broken into these themes, and this is just really for us here to understand what I've been working with. As I introduced myself, my work deals deeply with the feminine, with the femme experience. So it's very important that like I am the first like the portal through which this work like goes through. I am a woman. I live like in a community. I've grown up in a community, around a community of women, and our access to life really has been around that, how we navigate the violence that we experience in the space, the connection that we have to nature. I am from KwaZulu-Natal, and water is a very important element of like how we experience freedom. Aspirational, like the desire to be free, to walk freely, to experience life freely is really where I like to play. And a lot of this is just happening within the daily, and how that it's so important to acknowledge that within like daily life, there is still like there's still much that we desire. Then again, ritual, nuance. My work is about like the daily experience in self-care, because life takes place in the moment to moment. It's your mom doing her hair, which is like a very like deep memory. It's something that's such a big part of my life and my life experience. Black hair is always such a conversation, and it will not be a conversation because it's a conversation. But also you were often tricked into making like so much bigness around ourselves, and like there's always like so much drama that's associated. But I'm really just interested in grounding beauty in just in my family and in myself, and in just these little rituals that actually cause like that are cause for celebration and upliftment, and the fact that we are in your plainness, in your basicness, you're still like worthy of reverence, and there's still much that we can learn and gather from one another. And this is like, I mentioned I grew up like around a lot of sisters, and so my sisters are such a big part of my life, and they are like my greatest inspiration. And I really enjoy growing with them and seeing like their world and seeing them and documenting like these different phases of their life, understanding that the future really is theirs. So again, I really love like the idea of connection and community and sisterhood. I'm a big sister. It's something that I love a lot about my life. And I'm navigating life as a sister. I am interacting like with like experiencing different forms of sisterhoods and understanding like its importance and its place, of the place of matriarchies in our society as well. Touch and like the reverence of touch. We know touch can become such a fearful thing when you grow up like around such like systemic violence or normalized violence. So again, this presentation of softness, of desired states, really becomes a place that I like to experience, because life really is lived in a very grounded way. And I also smoke, and smoking is like a connecting thing. And again, just light touches, you know, I just really enjoy that, and like exploring like these gestures that like speak to connection and the things that connect us, and around like the types of communions that we can participate in. And then this is from my little sister's baptism during COVID. But this looking at family and ritual and community and coming together and what matters to different communities. And this like really speaks to this moment. This was such a huge relief for my aunts. Like, we were raised Catholic, and for my little sister to not be baptized during COVID was like such a big, was something that was just very important for my aunt to have for a daughter. And then that would be just the like one space that carries this work. And then as you move into a secondary space, you would have like a series of films that are playing, and this is one of the pieces that would be screened.
Paul, were you intending to show the video? Because
yes.
we are not seeing it now.
Okay, can I? Okay, cool. I see what I need to do. I have to share again. Please excuse me. Share screen. Oh no, not me having the technical issues after all of that testing. Please give me 1 second.
Cool. I think we are a little bit over time,
That
so
is-
we can wrap up with your presentation. Did you have anything else that you needed to show after the video? Is it good?
Yeah, that's good. That was what I had to show.
Show it
Okay,
in the end.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
like-
can show it in the end if you want, so you can set it up.
Yeah, I think also, Cole, you have like, I mean, it was nice to see also like the in these 7 months, you know, the journey you did a little bit with maybe even not so much with your work, but more with how you connected yourself to your work. Like, because in this last presentation, you really see that these two things are almost united. I mean, and I think that is very one of the most important things, you know, how you as a personality are very, that you are your work also, in that sense. And that connection is very well done, I think, also in your last presentation now. Later we will see the video also. And then, but I'm just wondering, because also now you are very, you have been always very good in communicating, but you also, communicate in a very compact way about your work and, or effective. But for me, it was more like, what is your next step now? You know, what you want to, what is your dream? Where do you want to go from here? Maybe quite important.
Yeah. So the last slide would have just been like my plan for distributing the work is I want to apply for some residencies and get some grants, because my intention is actually to develop like the physical experience of the work, and because I have the idea around space and creation and what types of subjects I'm exploring. So now it's a matter of actually being in the space that like allows me to work in a more tactile way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cole. We can move to the third presentation with Irene Opezzo. Hi, Irene, are you here?
Yes, I am. So my name is Irene Opezzo. I'm a photo editor. I've been working for the past 15 years in magazines, newspapers. I currently live, I'm Italian, but I currently live in Los Angeles. I moved here 6 years ago. And I've also started in the past few years working on exhibition, something that I always loved. I collaborated last year on a collective show for the Cortona Photo Festival, and I'm also gonna co-curate an exhibition on the next edition this summer. So I wanted to, you know, dive a little bit more deeper in this curatorial aspect, which is somehow already included in my everyday job. For this masterclass, I've curated this collective exhibition. It's called Broken Atlas. And the main topic is related to climate change and the consequences of human action on the planet. It's a thematic that personally terrifies me. Every day we have news about something weird happening in the world. And in my research, I also found that there's a lot of artists that are dedicating their practice to those themes. So my my goal is not to present photojournalistic or a documentary approach to the thematic, but I wanted to focus on the vulnerability and the scars inflicted to the planet by our action with the work of some selected artists. What is visible on a beginning is that there is an initial attractive beauty and poetic in most of those images. But this is actually really clashing with the urgent environmental and social problem that they depict. One of the artists in the show is Ingrid Wieland. She's an Argentinian artist, and she has been traveling in inhabited part of the world. She took photographs of those unspoiled landscape, and then she, excuse me, and then she intervened physically on the prints, manipulating and twisting those landscapes as a metaphor of a forever broken and irrecoverable action that the man is doing to the planet. Marcela Magno is another artist in the shows. She's from Chile, and she has been composing those large images made with hundreds of screenshots taken from Google Earth. She and the project is called Land, is a long-term project that she has been working on for over 10 years, and she captured lithium and oil extraction sites in South America and other parts of the world. I'm glad I rediscovered this work because a few years ago I wrote an article reviewing this project that was still at the earlier stages for PhMuseum. So I'm happy to have it to see how it has evolved and is still evolving. Douglas Mandry is a Swiss photographer concerned about the effect of the global warming of the glaciers in the Swiss Alps. And he's one of those artists that dedicated all of his practice to environmental topics. And for this series, Monuments, he went on the glacier and took some pieces of broken ice, put them in a cooler, and then exposed directly the photographic paper, creating those photograms of the vanishing glacier. Mattia Balsamini is an Italian photographer that with the project Protegge Noctem has worked on the effect of the light pollution and the effects that it has on human health and also nocturnal animal. And he also documented how scientists have collected those data. Mandy Barker is an artist that whose work is involving marine plastic debris, and she created a lot of compositions. She declined her project in different way. The one I choose is called Luna C, and it has been shot in the Anderson Island, which is a coral atoll in the Southern Pacific Ocean. Is a UNESCO site, and it's a place where unfortunately a lot of like plastic garbage end up. So she collected plastic fishing buoys, and she rephotographed them as they were moons in different phases. She also used some like small plastic dust and residues to create this kind of constellation elements and also satellites. Jennifer Latour is a Canadian artist. She's a set designer that works in cinema, and she used her skills of a set designer to create those to create surreal creatures made with plants and flowers locally sourced. And I like to conclude the show with her work, because with this playful intervention that celebrate nature patterns and structures, give us a little hope at the end of this of the exhibition. I have included also a few sketches for ideas of the exhibition design. For Ingrid Whelan, for instance, I wanted to bring kind of to extreme the idea of this intervention on print paper. So I'm planning to have a floor all filled up with crumpled papers and having probably just one print on the wall. I wanted to take Marcela Magno to mimic the way she prepared this her book that is made with folded maps. So recreate this in a larger scale and print folding screens, so they can also serve as a divider in the space. For the work of Mandy Barker with the moons, I was thinking to keep this sculptural aspect of the exhibition and have them printed in wooden cubes, maybe of different scales. The work of Glamandry is currently exposed has been exhibited in plastic boxes, so I think to reuse a similar installation. So, and I also wanted to say that sometimes climate change is difficult to understand. Many of us are feeling disoriented and powerless. And myself working on this show, I felt also somehow frustrated, because as all our action, even working on exhibition, is leaving an environmental footprint. So I would like to have somehow visitors to acknowledge this urgent need, and I'm planning to display like to have a touch screen at the exhibition. So once a visitor are there, they can disclose their travel distance and mode of transportation. So with a real-time calculation, they would know the data on their footprint just for the fact of being in the show. And also another something else that I would like to include in the exhibition budget is offset project to help compensate the environmental impact. This is still a work in progress, and I listed what I'm planning to be the next steps. So I still need to create an accurate budget that includes artist fee, curatorial fee, all the loans and transportation, the insurance, printing what is not existing, and then set design. And as mentioned, the footprint and caliber set project. then I'm gonna need to find how to finance it. That is gonna be interesting. And then I'm gonna work on a location. I live in Los Angeles, and there is a very beautiful space at the Italian Institute of Culture. So I might talk to them and see what's possible there. Eventually, I'm gonna contact the artist and and continue with everything, hopefully, to have this exhibition done maybe next year. So I've concluded, and thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Irene.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, just one question. I mean, what I have seen, and also the others have seen, that you have, over the month, you have really fine-tuned this idea that you had already quite in the beginning. And but it shows also that when you go really deep into one subject, it's really paying off. And my question is more like, yeah, what is now? I mean, I think you are ready to become a curator. I mean, you
Thank
already
you.
do things, but how are you going to present yourself to? What is the idea? How you present yourself to other people now, or to an industry, or to an institution? I mean,
yeah, that's a good question. Because I've just only recently started working on curatorial projects. So yeah, I'm something I really also learned in the US. It's just present yourself with the title that what you want to be, and not what you actually are. So it's kind of like aspirational, but probably also a country where you can sometimes say a little bit something different, instead of being more like low profile, as sometimes it is in Italy. But anyway, I think I'm gonna try to do and continue to have a more curatorial project, and also I have some other project, like a friend recently finished a long-term project, and I would love to help her on maybe a book or an exhibition. I'm preparing on for grants. So yeah, it's I have a lot of still to learn and explore. So I'm hoping I could go that way, parallel also to my job in the editorial world.
okay. Thank you very much, and good luck with that.
Thanks.
Thank you. So we can move on with Varvara Uhlik. I hope I said the name correctly.
Yeah, Varvara Uhlik, almost.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I'll share my screen. So here's my presentation. I'm a visual artist from Ukraine and photographer, currently based in London, and I usually work within the frame of Eastern European culture and identity. And now I have this idea for an Eastern European event, which I'm working on with my friends from Poland. And it is because we're both Eastern Europeans based abroad. And as Eastern Europeans often do, we miss our local food, our culture. It is very different in the West. It's very different in the UK, where I live. And for the flavor and for the taste of home, we go to the Eastern European shops, which is like it's like a portal where once you enter, you end up somewhere else. You sort of travel. It's not exactly home, but it's also not far from home. So it is a strange place, but you end up being somewhere very familiar. And I sort of want to create this event for people to come and feel like home, or like feel familiar and feel comfortable. And I want to have a sort of artistic event inside the Eastern European shop in London. And for that, we had an idea to interview Eastern Europeans who are based abroad, especially the artists that I know. Also make some sort of sculptures from like my side, and implement them within the space. In terms of the interviews, we gathered already 24 interviews, which are super amazing. We asked people questions about their home, the memories connected with the food, and it's quite poetic responses, I would say. And I think eventually we would also want to make it into publication and maybe put the publication inside the shop. So the space is, the thing about Eastern European shops abroad is they're usually quite tiny spaces, and they're filled with products, filled with colors, filled with stuff. And this is something that we have to work around, unlike the white cube spaces. So it's very loud and noisy and environment, loud in the sense of like visually loud. So the idea is to work around it and maybe make it cleaner in a way. So the idea is to actually use the shelves, where you put the price tags, because usually in Eastern European shops, the prices are put on the products themselves, or there are just no prices at all. So where you usually see the price tags, it's just empty space. And we are thinking to sort of design some visuals for that and implement the interview responses in there. So it's very subtle, but you would be able to notice it. And maybe we could work with sound, but that's something that I haven't developed yet. But yeah, we could put some recordings, some subtle sounds in the space. And another thing that I want to do is a performance. There's a Polish artist called Spalarnia. He does really sort of electronic, eerie singing, music performances, and he's really eager to perform at an opening event. So it would be a sort of exhibition within the shop that would last for about a week, but there would be an opening night with a performance, people just enjoying themselves, talking, probably mostly Eastern Europeans. But the idea is to also present our culture to the Westerners, and to maybe make them connect to this, to our memories, to our food, our culture, and to make people also understand why we're so like tempted by these environments and these shops, because it's quite it's something about nostalgia, I would say, and like, yeah, the feeling of your childhood memories. Yeah, I think this is mostly it. Thank you, Daku.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe Varvara, maybe you can tell maybe a little bit more about I mean, the nostalgia and the childhood memories. That's also where you make other works with, huh? Like it's kind of a constant work of you visually, that you go back to these moments in your childhood, and you make works out of it. Maybe you can tell a little bit about it.
Yeah, there are a lot of aspects in it, but I think what I work mainly with in terms of memories and nostalgia is that it's all unreal. It's all something that happened in the past and it doesn't exist anymore. So there's a lot of fantasy and a lot of romanticism happening around it. And this is also something that I notice with the interviews with people, because not all the memories are pleasant. It's not all like beautiful and roses and candies. But all these memories, they are always intensified with your own emotions. So it's all like very individual, very subjective. And I'm very interested in it, in more of like a thing created, a fiction. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. And
Thank
good
you.
luck with the journey. Huh?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Erik.
Thanks so much. Next is the work of Florine Thiebaud. Hi, Florine.
I think you are mute.
So, hello everybody, can you hear? Yeah?
Yeah, we hear you.
And can you see my screen? Yeah, perfect, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Florine Thiebaud. I'm an artist photographer based in Marseille since last year. I was based in Brussels for 8 years, but I just moved last year in Marseille in France. So my artistic practice, it deals mainly with imprisonment systems, its consequences mainly on people, the relationship to time within those situations and spaces. And I'm mainly guided by my personal encounters and the connection I build with others. I'm an artist using photographs, text, and artist books at the moment. And here during this class, I have been really experimenting with my different works, playing with an already existing series of photographs. And I was really trying to surprise myself and to get confidence in my curating decisions. So maybe I can start with showing you examples of presentations I made from the work Breaking Point. So Breaking Point is a project I did in Greece about people waiting for their papers there. It's a group of different persons, mainly of my age, that I met on the island Chios, and I followed them in Leros, Athens, and Eunophita. We spent a lot of time together, we stayed in touch, and I really followed their situation's evolution. So for this curating presentation, I really tried to stay away from the logic inside of the book and to bring something new with the same thing. So that's why I focused on the repetitions and series within the project. And I focused on individuals because of the connection we had and the time we spent together. And I was really trying to express the evolution of time and how to make it feel within the space. So, and also in this presentation, I tried to experiment to play with photographs and text, and also to bring some photographs that don't appear inside of the book, and also some photographs that are more like archives. So I try to mix different mediums. And here, so we can, it's only print and wallpaper. There are no fabrics or anything else. And we can see the pages as the walls. So, yeah. a very long text by Edmond that deals with struggle that he wrote himself. And I am also working at the moment on a project dealing with the consequences of detention for families and friends outside of prison. It's a project I already showed in Belgium during an exhibition in Namur, but I'm still working on it, and it's an ongoing project. It's starting from a personal story when my ex-partner spent some time in prison. I'm playing with self-portraits, archives, text, and still life. And there are no photographs inside of the jail because I really wanted to remind us of the separation. There are no portraits also of, for example, my ex-partner because I wanted to express the absence that we deal with. So it's really a project, again, about the waiting, the isolation, the lack of communication between the inside and outside. And I met a woman, Annie, in Marseille. Her father spent 30 years in prison, and so we talked a lot about being close to someone inside. And so that's why this project is still ongoing, because I want to be able to connect stories with people I meet. So I'm gonna zoom in. Some texts are still in French and some have an English translation, but not a good one. And I wanted to end this presentation with a new project I'm working on. It's I don't have a lot of pictures, but I still wanted to share. So I'm using photographs, text, and archives, and it's really a personal project about my own relationship to time, which is really connected to my anxieties. I'm trying to give myself a space to explore my own melancholy and isolation, and a space also to explore my place within my family. And I think that's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the great presentation, Florine.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's also very nice. I mean, I think that in your case also, and that's strange because it's in many people's cases also in the course, that you have learned more about your own photographs, you know, like it's funny that we have to spend 7 months together to get to know your own photographs more. And I mean, and in your case, I think it's also nice that you now kind of put this in the context of imprisonment systems and isolation. And yeah, like there's like now 3 works that you have made that are in this region. And so that is also very nice, because that has to do also that you connect your personal anxieties with your work and with how you want to communicate about it. And yeah, I think yeah, this is yeah, I think very I'm looking forward to see more of it. I mean, also with the new project, so that no questions to you. I have no questions.
Okay.
One
Okay,
then.
thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask a question, Florine. It's very interesting how, like, connecting to what Erik was saying, you basically went through the masterclass by going back to your work and trying to finalize it. And maybe I want to ask you, what are the things that you sort of feel that you have learned in translating your work to just being an image in your computer to imagining it all together in a layout, in a space. I have seen that you use white space in a very interesting way as well. So yeah, how do you feel about this connection between the work and space?
Within the work and space, yeah, I think now I see better how to use this space, how you say it, you know, and how to be also true to myself and how I work, and the fact that I don't know, when I make a choice, it needs to be, you know, the good one, and every time I really want to be sure about it, and also the fact that dealing about time, I really need a lot of space around it, and it needs to be something that we can feel.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
So we are halfway through the presentation, and the next participant is Sara Poli. Sara, are you here? Great.
I'm here. Do you see the screen?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this presentation. My name is Sara Poli. I am a curator and writer based in Italy. And during this masterclass, I develop through Spiriti Esposti, a curatorial photographic project. Spiriti Esposti is a curatorial project created to combine the art of wine with the art of photography. And in particular, this project was created to give a voice to wine communities and visual artists. Okay, no. Oh, sorry, it's not working. Okay. Don't know why. It's not working, the PDF.
The full screen is the problem?
Yes.
You just scroll down the slides?
Okay, I scroll down.
Okay.
No, it's not working.
Okay. Do you want to try, is it open with anteprima, or you can try just with the space bar on the computer?
I can try. Okay.
Yeah, try.
Okay, now it's working.
Okay, great.
Okay. So this is the website, which is currently under construction, and with the help of Camilla and Alex from over a year, they are helping me to build the identity of the site and the page. Okay. And the aim of the wine part of Spiriti Esposti is for curating a wine community, because usually wine is sold in a colonialistic way. It almost seems to belong to that particular e-commerce or wine shop, and not to the community that produces it. And my aim is collaborating with live talks and extend the exhibition in the winery, create a new wine label with them if needed, video making with the short interview, the story and the philosophy of the wine, and researching through maybe the family archives or some materials that can help people find out more about the winery. And through these talks, I develop an exhibition that combines both wine and photography. And in these times, wine and photography are undergoing a momentous change. After the phylloxera epidemic in just a few decades, the taste of wine has become increasingly standardized in pursuit of the perfect and balanced taste demanded by a large wine institution, creating wines and flavor at the piece of the market and no longer respecting the natural rhythms of its mother earth. And photography, having surpassed the competition with painting, has expanded so much with mass media to count on Instagram alone 40 billion images. And this aspect creates not only a visual or emotional overload, but also a stylistic one. So we are participating in a true globalization of the image that makes photographic art projects increasingly close and similar. And having said that, it is possible to call the artistic and winemaking process natural and personal today. Maybe not, but we can evolve the experience. So my idea is that during this exhibition experience, a visitor can take advantage of the natural wine tasting by pairing each wine with each photograph, discussing why they choose that particular wine in reference to the photo. The tasting journey is about not only contemplating the taste, but also matching the taste with the photographic artwork by increasing the sensory experience. And the name of the exhibition is Tautology of Taste and the Purely Aesthetic Excuses. I use tautology because it's a word that essentially repeats what has already been said, and meant in another expression or with another term or element, because it is the opposite of, I hope it's inside the exhibition. I made a big research of one artist that is Alessia Rollo with her work Parallelize. Her aim is to offer a more complex in this work and analysis of South Italian culture, and to reconsider in a visual, historical, and sociological terms the construction of the identity of her culture. So she is showing rituals, folklore of the south of Italy through a new imagination. And through the exhibition, I studied the positioning of the pics. They should breathe for the meditation with wine, adopting recycled installation tools as much as I can, the study of light and label and wine name are revealed at the end for not the sensory experience. And adopting a democratic way, not everyone is forced to drink alcohol. So I made this research for the wall picture. They should breathe, they are earthy like the project of Alessia. And how I can evolve this experience combining wine and photography. And I made this research for the senses. And to me, to make a spiritual experience is to create solitude. I want the public to stay alone with themselves during the experience, to increase their senses with wine and photography. And I tried to render the experience of solitude, selecting a few photographs of the artist and creating a hut-like structure where visitors can enter and see the picture alone. So this is the research I made for the hut-like structure. And this is the paper where the visitors can write their thoughts among the feelings between the photos and wine. And this is a scale projection of the exhibited photos, 150. And these are the poster in different colors of the exhibition. And I think that's it. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined this masterclass, and Erik for doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sara. Very interesting to follow.
Yeah, like, I mean, this was from the beginning already, I think, very strong idea. Like, I really like this match between, of this game almost between tasting wine and tasting photography. Like that is very, yeah, I think, and you know, you also are really going to do this now, and and you even set up. I mean, it's also interesting that this is like the project of the idea of yours, but it's also going to be your initiative. So you're going to make more presentations out of it, and I think that's also very nice as a curator that you bring it really to yourself. You know, you can own this now, and that will grow, of course. Maybe one question. You said that not everyone is forced to taste wine, but maybe also not everyone should be forced to see the photography. Or do you have to see the photography, or can you choose between it?
Yes, I think maybe people can only drink without seeing the photos.
Yeah.
Not pay attention to them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck with this.
Thank you so much, Sara.
Thank
Next,
you.
we have, Katrin. Are you ready? Great.
Yes, I am. So 1 second, and yeah, ta-da, here we go. You can see it full screen, I hope so. Yes, from wine to pain. And first of all, I want to, yes, sometimes it's very connected also. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of you, to PhMuseum, to Erik, and to Camilla, and yes, to the group. Thank you so much for the wonderful journey. Let's get started. I'm Katrin Greiner, and I'm a photographer and visual artist based in Berlin, Germany. My work is, I'm mainly interested in intense human experiences and also emotions. Ongoing project, very ongoing, with the title The Power and Poetry of Pain, is about the topic of chronic pain, physical pain in this case. Due to several foot and also hand injuries, as well as joint inflammations, I'm confronted with chronic pain myself. For me, dealing with pain is a super intense experience. It makes me feel broken and alive at the same time. Pain is an unpleasant sensory perception that tells our body that something is wrong. On the one hand, it is essential for survival and also can be a really good teacher. But it also shows us our limits and our vulnerability, and confronts us with a very dark side of us. For my ongoing project, I have built sculptures from vermiculite and also medical materials, objects, plants, flowers, pins, nails, and also taxidermy. I built the sculptures, and I also did human sculptures with body parts, with my own body parts. And I combined them with enraptured landscapes that were created in great pain. The challenge here is to make the invisible visible. And I don't want to hide pain behind black and white images, but I want to show it in all aspects and in all colors, pain. Because pain is for me not like a shy guy. It is kind of grotesque and also it's surreal. That's why I decided to choose color. I choose white because white emphasizes the medical side. Pink or rosé stands for vulnerability and also femininity. Red, yes, for intense emotions, of course, and for pain itself. And yes, you also find a lot of violet that symbolizes fragile beauty, also sadness, spirituality, and it has a tiny bit mystical. I asked myself, how can I be close to myself when individual parts of my body lead a life of their own? I don't have a master answer on it, but I tried. Normally, we try to avoid pain, and we really want to hide it. But I want to encourage people to show their vulnerability, to bring the pain a bit more outside. Because we are often in this, yes, hiding moment of feeling ashamed, and also the fear of being a burden for others. My wish is not only to show the work on the wall, it's also to bring people together, to create a space, to connect and to exchange. Here we go again. I also like the using perishable materials to refer to our own transience and to explore our own vulnerability, power and poetry of pain. Now I will show you also some ideas of, ideas how to present it, maybe. I tried. I want to use the walls, the floor, and the ceiling. I combine photograph with sculptures. And I want to add medical objects in it. Like, for example, on the wall, I just ordered a few X-ray viewers to show the work. I have this kind of glass box you see here, the visualization. Maybe in real life it's a bit destroyed, and then you can have a look around it. Here on the right side, you see a curtain. And this is also an element that is an option to play with, to destroy a picture. A curtain is an element to cut it a bit, also maybe the outer corners of a wall. And yes, another one here that you can have an impression of how it might look. I also have, due to the installation, or due to the due to the sculptures, I want to apply with these magical ones. Also, I want to include. I have protheses, and I wanted to make as a hanging sculpture, a sculpture from the ceiling, and a sculpture that is a bit moving. So there is also another level, that is the dummy of a dummy of a dummy. If you're interested, I can show you. I hope that it works now. But I have to tell that this one, I think I have first to stop and then we come back. Maybe this is ta-da. So
fingers crossed it's gonna work.
yeah, yoo-hoo. So I hope you can see it. This is the dummy of a dummy of a dummy. It means that it's still in process and there are still images that I changed that don't exist anymore. I killed some darlings. But I want to, here you see that I want also to break pictures. I want to destroy a bit and bring it together and to come to another level. And also to work with, next page, like the transparencies here, yes, and with text and transparencies. But yeah, still a lot to do, I think. This is it so far. And I hope it works fluently for you now. You see, it changes. So, fine. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe Katrin, you went. I mean, people that are watching, they don't know this, but you went through also. I mean, you. This is a very autobiographical project because it's about pain and your pain. But I think in the process of this course, you went also to some pain, but then more the pain of. I mean, in the beginning, you had this work and you were quite blocked with it, and at one point it was really released. And yeah, also a lot of the pictures that people seen here that you made them in the last month. And so, can you tell maybe a little bit how you went from blocked and almost in pain, how to make new work into yeah, how that suddenly happened that you. That it kind of exploded and you made more and more work. What was what is the method for that?
Yeah, maybe tears and tears, crying, exploring, drinking wine. No, maybe in this order. And yes, destroying yourself and standing up again. I think this is the main process. And yes, killing darlings. I'm not bad in killing darlings, but if you kill darlings, you have to create new ones. If you don't, you stack more. And I think maybe this an idea. And
I think you have to really, yeah, you have to really, I think from now on, you have to also push much further even, you know, you go on with this. And I think the work has been really improved and it starts to become really, really nice work, you know, like, and also, you know, it's important that now the work also became more painful, literally, than aesthetic only. Huh? So that is something very good. Yeah. Thanks for the process, seeing also the process. Great.
Thank you so much. Wow, for the journey that just started.
Thank you. So next we have Francesco Pennacchio. Ciao, Francesco.
Hi, everybody. So, hi, everybody. My name is Francesco Pennacchio. I'm Italian, but living in Switzerland. I am a photographer and a curator, young, early career curator. And what I'd like to share with you today is the work that I've been doing in the last, like starting from 2020, and that I try to wrap up and evolve during this masterclass. I start with a bit of personal history. This is myself at 2 years old with my mom. And it's actually, this is the last photo we have together because she died because of a cancer just some months later. And I mean, it's somehow like grieving as a child is it's not been easy at all, because like I think because of some kind of natural mechanism, I've been hiding and closing her memory for the last 30 years. So until I was 30. Until for a moment, there was a moment where my father told me this small anecdote about myself in the garden the spring after she died. And when I was asking him if mom would have come back as well, like the flowers normally do in spring. Starting from this small anecdote, I started this project called Unlike Flowers that actually confronted me with the need of having a memory of her that I didn't have. And as I had been thriving on the memory that other people told me of her. This process evolved through me finally going through the family archive for the first time. And like exploring first who she was on one side, and on the other side, like having this new production of the natural world that I've been doing in Polaroids, with Polaroids. Why Polaroids? Because it was a way to have some building block of memory of who she was and how I was confronting myself with that. And this was more or less where I was when I started this masterclass. Just before the masterclass, I had explored, during a trip, I had ended up being in Assisi, in San Francisco of Assisi church in Italy. And I recognized that place being the place where one of the archival photos that I've been exploring was taken. Starting from this point, I started evolving a second part of the project called Where Are You Now?, where I first mapped all the places where I could find some photos of my mom around Europe. And further, like starting doing some trips to go there and rephotograph those places. At the beginning, I started just photographing the places, but as soon I also started photographing myself in the place where she had stood at the time, and then juxtaposed those two images. So the archival one with the new one where I am present. And this is how it started evolving, started from France, this is of course Paris. And this has been a very interesting and like deep process, not only for like understanding how memory and my mother and where she was and trying to see what she had seen, having like the creation of these common memories, but also understanding the physicality and the liveliness of memory while I was doing this journey through Europe and finding the places where she had stood. So starting from this point of the reflection about memory, family, and this journey that memory is in a way. Sorry. I started to create this scheme for the exhibition of these two projects, building on two different ideas. The idea that I wanted to bring in with Unlike Flowers is having this not very complex exhibition scheme, but an exhibition scheme which is built on 3 levels. One is the eye level of an adult. The second one is the eye level of a child. And the third one is far above the eye level. Why this? Because I want to bring this child experience that I have of which represents the memory I have of her. And on the other side, like for example, for the top right photos, having this impression, even as an adult, that you have someone which is coming down to you to hug you and to pick you up, as probably are the experience I have on my mom. The second project, I'm trying to develop this idea because the journey was the most important thing here. So the exhibition idea would be to have a map of Europe, the one that I represented you before, with transparent photos that hang on the floor and that just align together in when you're standing in the place which represent where those images have been taken with 30, 40 years of distance. Building up on this concept, I really started being interested in this role of memory and how, as it has been a physical and emotional journey for me, I really like to expand this work into a multi-artist exhibition, which builds on this family trip idea. I have been selecting some projects from other artists, and the main idea of the exhibition would be really to have this friction between what a family trips ideally means and how normal life or experience could be much different from the ideal of the family trip or stereotypical family trip. So I'm presenting, I would like to present other projects. The first one I would like to bring in is Anna Gali, Timson Quaaludes and Red Wine, which is a project where she started to build and investigate the identity of his son who died because of an overdose, a drug overdose, and also investigates the identity that he had been hiding from him. So she managed to get into his phone and try to understand what was going on in his life that she didn't notice. The second project we'd like to bring in is Ausencias by Gustavo Germano. It's an Argentinian photographer that re-photographed some photos that had been taken after some member of the family had been kidnapped by the government during the military dictatorship, so some of the desaparecidos. Third project I would like to bring in is Prepare My Heart by Kiala Beja, which is investigation again of the memory of her mom, who died because AIDS and in New York during the AIDS crisis in America. For project is Chiara Luxardo Family Farm, big investigation on the aftermath of her grandmother's suicide that in a way put a big impact on the family, on the whole family of Chiara's, and on the relationship that they still have of this farm, this family farm, and with the relationship of the animals of the farm, which has been in a way crystallized by this event. And finally, the last project I'd like to bring in is Filippo Venturi's He Looks Like You. Family project built with intelligence, artificial intelligence, where he used the AI to bring together his father and his son that never managed to meet because his father died just before the birth of his child. And yeah, so that's more or less where I am. Big working project, work in progress, and yeah, to be developed in the future. Thank you so much for the attention. Thank you, Camilla. Thank you, Erik. Thank you, everyone, because it has been a very nice journey.
Francesco.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Francesco. Just one question, you worked on this quite a while. What is the idea now to take that, where to take that family trip project? How are you going to pitch it somewhere, or what is the idea?
Yeah, two main ideas. Today I presented mostly the part of memory, family loss, and grief, which is, of course, is part of what I am and my identity. Another part of my identity related to to the family image is I belong to the queer community, and also the idea of how the family stereotypized is, of course, not representing this kind of part of the work. So I would like to expand the finding work on this side. And the second thing, since I think I would really like to have some very experimental approach on this exhibition, the project, I think I'll start pitching it to festivals and try to find places where I could like bring this alive in more like not standardized or not very formal settings. This is more or less the idea I have so far.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Okay, we can move on to Evgeniya. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to say thank you to PhMuseum, to the group, to Camila and to Erik. I would say it was tough and totally uncomfortable experience in terms of pushing myself out of my boundaries, and I think it was really helpful, so thank you. And I'm ready to present. So my name is Evgeniya. I'm an artist. I work with photography. And in 2022, I moved from Russia to the UK, and I started a project about the meaning of home. I took pictures of Russians and Ukrainians who left their native countries after February 2022 and became immigrants. So I wanted to share their stories and their understanding of home, but also it has a personal aspect because as someone who recently left my own home, I feel lost in the new country and continue to search for a place where I belong. So my project isn't about the conflict. It highlights human stories. And it was tough for me to work on it, especially with the Ukrainians, but they agreed to participate despite my Russian background. And in total, there are 12 stories, and my personal story is the 13th. So let me briefly tell you about them. Nastya left Moscow in 2022, and then her boss learned about her relocation to the UK. He fired her from her remote job in Russia. And the reason was that Russia officially placed the UK on the list of unfriendly states, and people now prefer not to have any connections with such states. And also, Nastya told me that her mother considered her move to an unfriendly state as a betrayal, and they weren't communicated. Then I took these photos. It was around 3 months after Nastya moved. Kola is an actor. He left Russia in March 2022, and during 1 year, he changed 7 different countries looking for a place to stay. He brought with him 1 suitcase, which includes the t-shirt from the Theatre School audition and his guitar. The name is Alina. It's a gift from his parents. And I took pictures of him 1 hour after he moved into his new home in London. And the room was really tiny with a simple furniture. But he was so happy, he finally settled down and he literally wanted to touch everything and get to know his new space. Lena from Moscow, she, before moving to London, she packed her belongings very quickly. She was in a hurry and of course she couldn't bring everything. So she had to give away a lot and it was a tough experience for her. And even now she avoids buying new stuff because she feels like a nomad, ready to move again at a moment's notice. Lisa and her mom left Russia on February 24th, 2022. They packed their belongings in just 1 day without any plans or money. And they spent 6 months in Serbia, living in a wet room on the basement floor. And before arriving in London, they changed their accommodation 25 times in 8 months. In 2022, after a rocket hit the regional administration building, Zhenya and her mother decided to leave. Zhenya told me that her father still lives in Ukraine, but he supports Russia and they hardly communicate. In the UK, she faced sleep and eating disorders. She sleeps only during the daytime and she can eat only small portions of food. And she said that baking has become her form of meditation. Then she feels safe. Nastya was born and raised in Odessa, Ukraine. She never wanted to move to another country. She had never changed her place of residence before, but she had to leave Ukraine in March 2022. And she only informed her mom after crossing the border. Yulia is a musician. She plays the Ukrainian national instrument, the bandura. She took it with her, along with just one more suitcase of belongings. And she said that home for her is about sleeping in a safe place. She never thought that this simple pleasure could become so desired and so hard to reach, but after 4 months of sleepless nights, it became quite evident to her. Maxim was born in Russia and Anya was born in Ukraine. They met each other. Maxim moved to Ukraine. They got married. Both of them have disabilities. In February 2022, then there was a blackout in Ukraine. The elevator in their home didn't work. And they lived on the 4th floor, so they were trapped in their apartment for several days. And then they decided to leave, and their family, their parents, went with them. Now the whole family live in Nottingham in the UK. And during the photo shoot, I noticed that Anya's father supports Russia while the rest of the family supports Ukraine, but they try not to speak about this. Nastya from Ukraine, she lives in the UK with her Ukrainian uncle and his Russian wife. When we started the photo shoot, Nastya told me her story and she was crying all the time. There was a boy she loved. He decided to go to the army and he died. And Nastya couldn't attend his funeral because she was leaving for London. And she still feels like he's alive. And she believes that one day she returns home and she will meet him. Ira didn't want to shoot in the house that she lives in the UK. She's a lodger. She lives in a spare room, and shooting among ancient trees is like a visual representation of rooting in a new country for her. Anya, Vanya, Venya, and Andrei. In Russia, they lived together with their parents who helped with the children. And the move was like a separation from parents, and it was quite stressful. And Anya continues breastfeeding, even though the boys are old enough, as it provides them with a sense of security in the new space. Laura from Ukraine, on February 24th, she was alone with her daughter as her husband had left the country for work. With the help of her friends, she managed to leave Ukraine, and now the whole family lives in Wales, in the apartment located in a former chapel building with a regional church elements. Her parents are still in Ukraine. They support Russia and didn't understand her decision to move to the UK. In this project, my focus was on people and their stories, and through them, I was trying to understand, to find my understanding of home. And I realized I felt uncomfortable in the home where I was living in the UK, and I started experiencing sleep issues there. And I wake up several times during the night, and it never happened before. So each time I wake up now, I take these photographs. So now I want to create an exhibition space designed as a metaphorical house divided into several rooms. Each room will represent different aspects of my personal experience with the immigration and the experiences of other people who have participated in the project. So there will be 3 rooms. The first room is the bedroom, a dark room with the photographs on the wall. And a bed in the center. So visitors can lie on the bed and experience my personal nightmares through large-scale photographs. The second room is the living room. The living room is about what's happening here and now, with the photographs I've taken and stories from these people. And it's supposed to show their feelings, their thoughts, and their perception of home. And the last room is a memory room. This is the space with the photographs from the past. I will use images from the archives of people who participated in the project, Google Maps images of their homes in the native countries, and some handwritten notes from them about their memories and experience. Also, I was thinking about making a photo book. I will share the pictures I took along with the stories. And I want the text to be a bit random and slightly disordered, just to show the inner state of people who feel broken and need to rebuild everything from scratch. Also, I'll add the stories to the photo in the form of different elements. It could be thin paper, like tracing paper with the printed text. And I'll add photographs from their personal archives, from their lives before immigration. And my part of the story might be presented in the form of accordion-style book. It will be in a small format in comparison to the main book, serving as an insert. So that's it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Evgeniya. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have to say, like yeah, you have made really big improvements also, maybe despite the mental things you went through in a way. But I mean, this is really also a very good presentation where you see like the idea of the project, how it's made, and the potentials of it in exhibition and in a publication. Yeah, maybe I don't. I mean, has this also, because this was a project which you, I mean, it's different from things that you have done before, but has this also been kind of a healing for yourself to do this? I mean, also, you know, like being yourself in the same situation, but that spending time with them. And so has this also helped you in that sense?
Yeah, I think it was a kind of self-therapy, because when I moved, I just could not develop my old projects about landscape and architecture. And I just had the feeling that I need to talking about home. And I knew exactly that I need to talk with the people who moved after February 2022. And yeah, I think it was a therapy, it was healing, and it helped me to overcome my own difficulties. And it was really helpful to do it, not only for exhibition, for publications or something like this, but for myself and for my personal journey, first of all.
Yeah, I think in your case, I mean, maybe you one day you can go back to your former life, and maybe I don't know, but I for sure I don't think you have to go back to your former work. You know, like you can. I mean, it's good to the improvement this made, and it's really yeah, very strong, very good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks so much. We have 2 presentations to go. Next is Erika. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I hope the sign now is okay.
Everything good, Erika?
Now I have to allow some permissions. I don't know why. I don't know, but maybe I can go next, so I can fix the.
Okay. Sure. So it would be Katrina. Yeah, Katrina.
Yes.
Okay, great. We can switch to you and then go back to Erika.
Okay. So welcome to my presentation. My name is Katrina Whitehead and I am an interdisciplinary artist researching the historic archives of unsolved murder mysteries. The title of my exhibition is Exquisite Corpse, a name which derives from a childhood game. The rules of the game are that each participant must draw a part of the body, fold over the paper to conceal their drawing, and then pass the paper on to the subsequent person who draws the next section of the body. When everyone has drawn a section, the paper is unfolded to reveal an unusual and bizarre character. This unusual and bizarre character could be applied to the person I have investigated for the purpose of this exhibition. Her name is Mary Rogers, and she was murdered in New York in 1841 at the age of just 21. The mystery surrounding who killed her has never been solved. In my role as artist and amateur detective, much like the game, I have pieced together newspaper articles and witness interviews in order to build up a picture of Mary Rogers, to give her a voice, to remember her, and to give my view on what may have happened to her on that fateful day. Mary Rogers was described as the beautiful cigar girl, for she worked in a tobacconist shop, and men would flock to the shop in order to see her exceptionally beautiful face. Sadly, her exquisite corpse was found by sailors, and despite police investigations at the time, no one was ever charged with her murder. The crime was documented in national newspapers, and more famously in a short story by Edgar Allan Poe. My reinterpretation of the story identifies Mary Rogers as a young girl discovering who she was, where she worked, where she lived, who she dated, and the life that she led in the short space of time that she arrived to live and work in New York, to the time when she was strangled to death and her body was found floating in the River Hudson. In my role as an amateur detective, I have contacted the New York archives and strived to piece together the accounts of witnesses and reinterpreted the story of her life and death, finding newspaper articles, illustrations, library archives, museums, fictional novels, and non-fiction books. And through scrutinizing hundreds of historical images and artifacts and reading descriptions about her features and clothing, I have designed the pattern for the dress she was wearing when she was discovered, based on the rare blue orchid flower, which is a symbol of beauty. I collaborated with a costumier and a milliner to recreate the dress, the petticoat, shoes, and bonnet that she was wearing when she was found. I've played with fact and fiction in order to piece together who she was and what she wore at the time she went missing. By seeing the dress, the audience can feel more of a connection to Mary and clearly see how her petite stature was no match for the assailant who killed her. From descriptions of her place of work, her home, and where she travelled on that fateful day, I've reinterpreted the locations where she was seen using only forensic photography techniques. This includes infrared and ultraviolet light, which ensures that the light captures what cannot be seen with the naked eye and is representative of the liminal space which resides between fact and fiction. As quoted by Edgar Allan Poe, "Believe nothing you hear and only half that you see," which underpins the suggestion that we are looking but not seeing, particularly in the case of a cold crime. By using infrared and ultraviolet photography, I can bring a new vision to the story, capturing the mood and atmosphere of the landscape, bringing a sense of eerie mystery to the image and a touch of beauty, depicting the last place she was seen in a desolate inn near to the woods where her screams were heard. Through finding key illustrations drawn at the time of the murder, I'm recreating it in the form of an amateur police reconstruction, reenacting the dramatic scene of the discovery of her body. I've identified and documented an inventory of all the key items mentioned in newspaper articles reporting the murder, including a large steamer trunk which she used to travel to her destination. In order to make these ordinary items extraordinary, I've chosen the forensic photography technique of painting with light. This has enabled me to study the items in close detail, their curves, their structure, texture, tones, and shadows, capturing the atmosphere of the time and delving into the mystery of each object and the story that it holds. A handkerchief with her initials, a snuff box, a message left on a chalkboard, and a rose pushed through a keyhole in the door are random and disparate objects, yet when they are pulled together, they become significant clues in order to piece together the evidence which led up to the day of her murder. All of these items of clothes leave their hidden traces, such as the fabric ripped from her dress and tied tightly around her neck. After her murder, her bonnet was placed back on her head and tied, not with a bow, but with a sailor's slip knot. Is this the clue to who killed Mary Rogers? According to the femicide census, 62% of women will have been killed by a current or former partner. Before her murder, Mary Rogers worked for Mr. John Anderson in a tobacconist shop he owned in Broadway, New York, and the building can still be seen today. I've virtually walked the path from her home to work through Google Street View in order to try and experience a sense of the time it would take her to get to work, which was just around the corner. Similarly, I've identified the route from her home to the area where she was found dead in order to produce an amateur detective reconstruction of a timeline of events. I've sourced images from the era in order to get a sense of the style, atmosphere, and particularly the customer experience of these cigar shops, up to and including the present day. Apparently, many men came from miles around just to see and speak to Mary Rogers, who worked in the shop. So for the purpose of the exhibition, I've made the decision not to house it in a traditional gallery, but to recreate the tobacconist shop where she worked. I aim to recreate an installation of the tobacco shop from 1841, complete with shop counter, boxes of cigars, cigarettes, and snuff. On entering the shop, guests will be hit by the stench of tobacco smoke and the strong, sweet smell catching in the back of the throat, which will linger throughout the shop. Photographs of cigars will adorn the walls. My framed photographs of the landscapes, her personal possessions and clothes will be quietly interspersed between images of the cigars in order to hint at clues and evidence of her murder mystery. There'll be a private view for guests to enter the shop and take in the smell of cigars and view the products in the store. The smell of the cigars will be pumped into the shop, and there will be a buffet accompanying the private view, which will consist of chocolates shaped to look like cigars. Invites will be designed in a vintage style to look like an advert for the shop opening, and the steamer trunk and her dress will take centre stage. The exhibition installation will take place in an actual empty shop. I've previous experience of exhibiting a photography exhibition in an empty shop in Huddersfield Town Centre for the Cultures of Place exhibition. So empty shops are offered by the local council as a temporary pop-up exhibition to generate art interest in the community and make the space a vibrant area to visit. So the design of the shop front will reflect a traditional shop from 1841. Funding will be sought from the University of Huddersfield and Arts Council England. This will include the cost of a team of people who will build the shop fixtures and fittings, including the shop counter and units to hold the boxes of cigars. A sign writer will be employed, and I will carry out the interior design of the shop, including painting and decorating. I'll also source the cigar boxes to go inside the shop and have all the images framed, which will include installations sourced from newspapers surrounding the story and my own photographs interspersed throughout the shop to act as clues to the murder mystery story. Objects belonging to Mary Rogers will be placed inside some of the empty cigar boxes, such as a lock of her hair and her engagement ring. Alongside my exhibition, my photographs and backstory to the research will be published in a book entitled The Cold Case Investigation of Mary Rogers by Katrina Whitehead, Amateur Detective, which will evidence my interpretation of events leading up to the murder from the position of a modern-day amateur detective, highlighting key findings and witness statements, including my photographs. And here is some draft pages of the book, highlighting the key objects mentioned in the murder mystery story, the trunk, and some of the images get more severe.
Did you open another window? Because we are on the same slide as before.
Sorry.
If you want, you can quickly stop sharing and sharing again your whole screen.
Okay, I'll just go to the last section. So the exhibition will conclude with a touring exhibition of the steamer trunk, complete with all the clothes and objects inside each drawer, which are associated with the life and death of Mary Rogers, so that her name continues to live on and is accessible to all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Very good, Katrina.
Thank you.
I mean, really amazing presentation, like, and very beautiful project. I mean, you are really the first photographer and amateur detective I've ever had in a workshop. But I mean, it also shows, I mean, this is a completely different project than all the other, or completely different, of course, but it shows also, I think, what, when you have a deep obsession in something, what that can bring and how you suddenly can produce something with that. And I think also, I mean, I don't really have a question because it's, you have captured it all in a way. But one thing which I really would hope is also, I mean, it is really nice to take this also out of England and show it in other countries, because to dislocate this story is also very interesting. Don't you think?
Yes, that's my ambition, because I've always exhibited locally, and the idea was to use the steamer trunk to travel around the UK, and it would be amazing if it could also go internationally. That would be a dream.
Yeah, well, I'll help you with it, hopefully. It will work maybe, huh?
Thank you. Yes, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Erika, do you want to try again?
Yes, even though I don't have a good signal, so I just wanted also to start saying thank you so much for like all my colleagues for this amazing masterclass. It really helped me to be more clear regarding contemporary photography in like curatorial practice. So I'm gonna try again. For the yes, I'm currently finishing my research trip for the project I have been working on. So this is the reason the signal has been a bit not the best. I'm sorry. Because actually it crossed the presentation into like, yeah. Okay, so just to start, I'm Erika Calderon. I'm a Colombian visual researcher and photographer. I currently live in Switzerland since 2017.
Erika, I think we only see a black screen. We don't see your presentation.
Yes, let me see. I'm trying that this works, but do you still see the black screen?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
Maybe you want to try again? Like unshare and share again?
Yes.
Works eventually?
Yes.
Otherwise, if it
wait.
doesn't work in any way, you can just give a brief presentation as you want.
Yes, of course, of course. I didn't want to really miss the presentation.
Sure.
No, I don't know what happened.
Try to stop sharing and then...
But yeah, but yes. Maybe just one more time. Let's try. No, no, I don't know what. When I try to push the button, doesn't work. But I can.
I've done it. I've done it.
Okay, so I have been working on a project called Access of Coexistence. I have been interested in bringing my project, a research project that I have been doing since the last 5 years. As part also of my practice, so I have been exploring my role as a photographer, but also as a researcher, and also exploring expand documentary photography. Throughout the last 5 years, I developed 3 projects I took in the course to develop a curatorial initiative. And the idea of the project is to explore the concept of learning to relearn, the relationship between image making, colonialism, photography, and indigenous communities. So yeah, through the whole course, I have been exploring different spatial methodologies, as well as finding a way to bring all the projects together that they can dialogue, because each one of them work independently into the same topic, but they communicate each other. So I have also multi-channel video installation. Also, I have photographs print in fabric and objects. And during my this research trip that I have been doing since 1 month, I have been also I continue to get more material with the characters and the protagonist of the project, which this protagonist also symbolize the coexistence between indigenous communities and, well, say, not indigenous people. As my background is also...
Sorry, Erika.
Yeah.
Did you try to share or?
Yes, I tried to share several times, but I don't know what happened with the signal also.
No. Yeah, so maybe we have to move on and
yes, I try. I really try to show the presentation, but also, as you know, the trips also have their situations. So yeah.
Yeah. No, but maybe we rectificate this another time and that you can show it fully. So that's better than doing it now with a half, you know, like.
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
and
We
at
know
the same
all the
time,
work, of course, but it's you have been traveling a lot for this and doing. So it could be good to have another moment and to show it or share this work with people in another way. Yeah.
Of course, I agree. I agree completely. I would really like to have a better way to show the project.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Sorry for this.
No, it happens as part of the process.
Yeah. And Cole, maybe you want to show then finally that we can see your film. Is that
yeah, there's no one else. Okay.
Yeah, we're done. Otherwise.
Okay. Cool. We're summing on, but it's got excuse me. Okay. Just share screen.
For you, Cole.
Yes, I am there.
Cool. I think it stopped going.
It hasn't stopped. That is the piece.
Ah, amazing. Okay.
Cole. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's going.
Oh yeah.
That
Okay.
is. So, as you can see. I will just stop it there, but that is the piece.
Maybe Cole, it's maybe nice to explain a little bit about also how you want to show this in an exhibition, because I find it a very strong piece. Also, I've seen it several times and very it's almost like a trance where you also as a viewer get into, but maybe you can explain a little bit something about this piece.
Yeah, sure, I can do that. So essentially, with the second aspect of like the exhibition of the work, it takes this, when I say intimacy, vulnerability, and myself, this will be a separate room where like you enter and these film pieces will be projected quite large. And it really is about, again, this meditative state. This is not a picture, it's an actual video. And a lot of this work involves me like recording myself and like reviewing a lot of this footage. of myself in like these varying states of meditation. These films are also like time-based pieces. Some of the pieces have been made over like the course of years. Some of them have been made over just like this one was actually, it's a 3-hour long recording of myself in like this transient state that I've just like reduced to like 5 minutes for the purpose of this. So a lot of these pieces is just like inviting people to just sit down and slow down and to participate in like the meditation. And to a certain extent, like I'm looking at myself in relation to technology, my body, and like the body almost like as a portal, as a metaphysical experience. So all of these pieces all relate like to these similar ideas. And when one enters like the form space, there will really just only be forms that like that speak to me, because with the photographs it's an external eye, whereas with the forms it's just about me and my experience of myself, and again about that vulnerability that I would like all of us to participate in when we are in the room together with the work.
Okay.
Yes,
That's great. Thanks very much. It was really nice to see that.
Well, thank you so much. It was really an interesting journey, and it was great to see how different all the works were, and really like also jumping from photographers curating their own work to curators purely working in choosing and displaying other artists' work. And I think all the journey of the masterclass was really characterized by this diversity in you and in your works. So really congratulations to all of you.
Yeah, I think I think we're going to wrap this up soon with all the people in the chat room. We going to spend some a little bit more time to say properly goodbye, and also to I kind of online spent 65 euros because I saved this for every time somebody said like, can I share my screen, or can I see my screen? Can you see my screen? So in total, there were 65 times in 6 months, 7 months, not too bad. So we are going to spend that money online on drinks and you know, like, and then have a party. So thank you very much, everyone, also for showing this today. And I'll see you a little bit later.
Yes. So I'm going to close the streaming, but stay in the room so we say goodbye properly. Thanks to all the viewers, and bye.
That's it.